Death is inevitable. It's one of the few human experiences that we truly share. We're all going to die someday. And that scared me. Like, where do we go after? Is there nothing beyond? Just endless darkness? Or is there an afterlife to look forward to? Will I have lived a fulfilling life by then? What if it literally takes me tomorrow? Will I be okay with that? Have I done enough? Have I left something behind that I can be remembered for? I know, it sounds depressing, but I couldn't help it. I had a lot of time alone, so being existential was something I couldn't help but be. And that all culminated in me experiencing one of the most resonant stories I've ever come across. It was in May of 2021, and if you all still remember, the world was falling apart. I just graduated senior high online, and now I have to think about what course I'll be taking in college. Being isolated, the world being a mess around you, and college looming over you leaves you feeling quite existential. So without missing a beat, I decided to get into Girls' Last Tour, the anime adaptation. And I loved every single second of it. This story of two girls touring through this superstructure of a city humanity once lived in, having philosophical conversations about the nature of our existence, life, and obviously death, enjoying every fleeting moment that comes their way, be it by eating food after a long day of traveling, dancing under the moonlight while under the influence, or just listening to the sound of rain. Having the remains of civilization as the backdrop for these conversations make for such a strong vibe. Every episode drips with the perfect atmosphere to accommodate the current emotions I had swirling in me. It was so good, in fact, that I went and continued the manga where the show left off, and that completely, utterly broke me. And it's what I'm here to talk about, what I got out of those final strings of chapters. So here's your spoiler warning. If everything I've said so far interests you, please read the manga. This story is special, and it's something you should experience for yourself. You can come back here after you're done. That's your spoiler warning. Having finally arrived at the stairs that lead to the top of the city, having lost everything along the way, the Kettenkrad, the gun, the books, the journal, things that have tied them to this world, the ascent. And as even their lantern finally lost its light, Yuri and Jito continued their ascent to the top, holding each other's hands as to not lose each other in the darkness, both admitting their fear of death. They're finally here, after this long, arduous journey, and as they reach the top, they're met with nothing. Just a snow-covered slate, a black slab, and the dark sky. As the gravity of the situation finally sets in, Shito asks if this was the right decision. If maybe they could have turned back. Maybe they could have set for a different destination. Maybe things would have gone differently. Then Yuri takes a few steps away from her, then throws a snowball at her face. They don't know if the decision they made is right, why the world ended up being what it is, or why they're the only two people left in it. But this journey, this tour, living, was the best. And that resonated with me so much. Getting along with hopelessness was something that Yuri said time and time again early on in the story. And I feel that this ending was the culmination of those words. Even as the world ends, even when faced with a situation that would make anyone despair, these two laughed it off and accepted it. All they were met with was a snow-covered slate, a black slab, and a beautiful sight in the skies. And that was fine. As they finally settled in, they eat the last remaining rations they had, saying they'll think about what to do tomorrow. They wrap themselves up in blankets, cuddling for warmth. And so they fall asleep for eternity. They got along with hopelessness. Instead of falling into despair because life is meaningless at this point, they found the good in the smallest of things, enjoying every moment, no matter how fleeting. They likely knew this was how it was going to go, but they went anyway. Like Cheetah said, even when you know it's all going to end, You can't not do something. Death is inevitable. But it's that inevitability that gives our lives beauty. It's what drives us to give it worth. Life may be meaningless, but we have to make one for ourselves. Be it by making maps, being the last pilot in history, keeping a fish alive, or simply because sometimes nice things happen. You have to find that one thing that drives you to pick yourself back up and survive, no matter how insignificant it may be. To say this story changed my life and how I viewed it is an understatement. Not a lot of media have shook me to my very core the same way this story had. It saved me, in more ways than one. Now, I'm a communication student in my second year of college. It's not like I have my future planned out or anything, nor have I found the answers about my life, but I can't just sit still. They sure as hell didn't. Even if my future is uncertain, even if I make mistakes, no matter what decisions I make, no matter what regrets I'll have, I hope I can say living was the best too. Do not be sorrowful, soon it shall be night, and over the pale land we shall see the cool moon secretly laughing, and we shall rest hand in hand. Do not be sorrowful, soon the time shall come, then we shall have rest. Our little crosses shall stand together at the bright roadside, and it shall rain and snow, and the winds shall come and go. Thank you, Tsukumitsu-sensei, for creating this story that saved me, and thank you for watching.